It is Victory Monday, Cleveland Browns fans. Something that we don't often get to enjoy after the first game of the season. But 2 straight years now, the Browns start off 1-0, this time knocking off Joe Burrow and the Bengals 24-3. What a great investment of $275 million paying off immediately with all 3 points to show for. But here's what we got on tap for everyone today. We're going to take some victory laps. We're going to enjoy this win. And then we're going to start looking ahead a little bit. But I do want to just soak in what was a beautiful victory over the Bengals. Then we have some unfortunate news to get to involving Jack Conklin. Spoiler alert, we're going to have to talk about replacements. And then we have some overreactions after Sunday's victory. We're going to kind of round it all up. So we got all that coming up on today's show. But we are going to look ahead just a little bit right now to Week 2, Monday Night Football against the Steelers, who got absolutely squashed in Week 1 against the 49ers. So I want to beat the Steelers every single day of the week and then pile it on Monday night. So help us take down Steelers Talk in subscribers this week as we do a sub-battle with Jack Sperry and the channel. Now let's get into our first victory lap. This one comes from Ja'Marr Chase with some elite bulletin board material when he was asked after the game about this loss. And he said, "It's frustrating because I called their ass elves and we just lost to some elves, so I'm pissed on my part. I'm pissed on that end. We missed opportunities. We didn't capitalize on that shit, and we lost. Talk shit, get the warden, get Denzel Ward, and get locked down." It's one thing if you're Ja'Marr Chase and you want to run your mouth against a team that you have a lot of success against. Here's the thing, Ja'Marr, you don't. You got a receiving end of a pick six not too long ago by Joe Burrow. You have, one win to show for against Cleveland, in your Cincinnati Bengals history. This entire Bengals wide receiver room was put on a no-fly list. Ja'Marr Chase, 5 grabs, 39 yards, 9 targets. T. Higgins doesn't even know what a football feels like in 2023. 0 receptions for 0 yards. Tyler Boyd, 3 targets, 2 receptions for 10 yards. And somewhere, Joe Woods is sitting in a recliner after the Saints victory going, I guess the DBs can play man. Yeah, this is what happens when you go out and get an actual competent defensive coordinator who unleashes a very talented pass rush unit. But the DBs, they're the same as last year, -1 Thornhill and Rodney McLeod. But for the most part, the nucleus of it, Grant Delpit, Denzel Ward, Martin Emerson, Greg Newsome, it's the same guys. And the Browns, they feasted on the Bengals. Now, you can definitely attribute some of this to Joe Burrow's injury coming into this game, to the weather. All that is fine and dandy. If you are going to kind of give the Bengals a pass because of the weather, you should do the same for the Browns. But oh wait, they put up 24 points in what honestly looked like a slow day at the office for Cleveland's offense, right? At no point were we really blown away by the Browns' offense. But the fact that they casually put up 24 points when they didn't even look like they were close to playing their best, and the defense stuffed the Bengals to 3 points, yeah, there's a lot of optimism that if the Browns just tighten a couple things on offense, as they will as the season progresses, this team is going to go places. Now, some unfortunate injury news to get to here. Adam Schefter tweeted out that tests reveal that Browns right tackle Jack Conklin tore his ACL and MCL and will have season-ending surgery. We kind of felt like this was coming after he was carted off the field. A very scary-looking injury. What was it? Jed Wills pushing Trey Hendrickson into Conklin's left knee. It sucks. You hate to see it. There's no doubt about it. But now we got to have the next man up mentality, and that is Dawand Jones, 4th-round pick out of Ohio State. If you did not watch a single snap of preseason football and you need to be, brought up to speed on Dawand Jones, I got some good news for you. The guy was lights out in the preseason. Now, he played against 2nd and 3rd string defensive ends, but he played most of the snaps yesterday. He had an overall grade of 49.7. I don't buy that. His pass blocking grade was 77.8. So for your first NFL regular season go, to hold your own against Hubbard and Hendrickson and DJ Reader and the rest of that Bengals defensive line, I think you got a lot of good pieces and a lot of good building blocks to go off of moving into Week 2, which will be no easy test against TJ Watt and the Steelers. Now, speaking of Week 2, if you want to go to the Browns-Steelers game, if you want to go to any Cleveland Browns game this year, well, check out our awesome sponsor today, which is Game Time. With killer deals on last-minute tickets and their best price guarantee, you can stop stressing over the tickets and start getting hyped for the fun you're going to be having watching the Browns just pile it on against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, I personally use the Game Time app when producer Roley and some other guys here at Chat Sports, and myself included, went to a college football game in Charlotte between UNC and South Carolina. And thanks to Game Time, we were able to get $20 off. The way I look at it is if you use Game Time, when you go to the game, your first drink or your first bite to eat is on Game Time with that $20 off. So make sure you download the Game Time app today. They've got awesome features like being able to see what your seats will look like before you even sit down. It's got this awesome feature where you can rotate your phone and it gives you a bird's eye view of what your seat will look like and what your view will look like from your seat. So make sure you get started with Game Time today. Download the Game Time app. Make sure you redeem the code BROWNCHAT for $20 off. Now, all that information is down in the comment section and the description of today's video. But download the Game Time app, create an account, use code BROWNCHAT for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply, but once again, download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Some other injury news I want to share before we kind of put a bow on it. Jed Wills, who played every single snap in the game, got an x-ray done after the game. Now, they never disclosed what the x-ray was on, but the x-rays came back negative. Kevin Stefanski did a Zoom meeting with all the local Big J's in Cleveland, and he said that Jed Wills is fine and there's no injury designation, and he's going to be ready to go for week 1, or week 2, I should say, against the Pittsburgh Steelers. But the Browns do have an open roster spot now, right? As Jack Conklin goes to IR, Dawand Jones slots up a spot, you're going to have a vacancy on the roster, and specifically at the tackle position. So if anyone is wondering what the free agent market looks like for tackles, it's not glamorous. Taylor Lewan, Eric Fisher, Dennis Kelly, Ty Nishke, Marcus Cannon. There's not a lot of great notable names out there at this point. I think what Cleveland's next option will be is, hey, who do we have on our own practice squad? They got Alex Leatherwood, a former first-round pick. He did not look good really for the Bears or the Raiders ever. I don't think that's somewhere the Browns want to go down and explore. So maybe they look at some other practice squads, right? Look around the league a little bit and go, who's got a good guy or a good player on their practice squad that we can sign right to our active 53-man roster. But let's show Jack Conklin some love right now. The guy has been through a lot in his NFL career. Tore his ACL with the Titans, tore his patella tendon with the Browns 2 years ago. He comes back from that. He plays really good football last year. In a lot of ways, he was one of the best offensive linemen for this team after Joel Bitonio. And unfortunately, his season is cut short just a quarter and change into it after going down with a torn ACL and MCL. So let's show the guy some love. Spam some 78s down below. Now, some overreactions here after week 1. Jim Schwartz, is he a god? Yes, he is a god. This part is not an overreaction. Jim Schwartz, build a statue because the guy is putting together an elite defense in Cleveland. He's actually more or less inheriting an awesome defense that just needed to press the right buttons, and he is the right man to do that. Look what Joe Burrow did. Guy was paid $275 million. The Bengals said all week, he's 100%. He's fully practicing. Jamar Chase said, he's back, guys. Oh, I don't think so. Completed less than 50% of his passes, 82 yards, 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. The Bengals got absolutely nothing going. Why? Because he kept running into these 3 players. Myles Garrett, Za'Darius Smith, Okoronkwo. 2 sacks between these 3 guys, 9 QB hits, 10 total in the game. The front 5, the front 4, whatever you want to call it, was all over Joe Burrow all game long. In fact, when you look at PFF's highest graded players for the Browns, Grant Delpit, 91.3. Za'Darius Smith, just kind of introducing himself to the Dawg Pound with that awesome QB pressure on the first play of the game to force an incompletion. And then after the game, wanting to go hang out with the Dawg Pound in a fan club next to the locker room. Myles Garrett, 89.9. Casual day at the office for him. Greg Newsome, 79.8. Shelby Harris was that 3rd defensive tackle rotating in after Dalvin Tomlinson and Jordan Elliott. And as a 3rd guy, he was 69.9 overall in PFF size. That's a deep defensive line for Cleveland. Now, we'll talk about the offense in a moment. I am willing to kind of chalk it up to the rain and a work in progress with the chemistry for the Browns offense and Deshaun Watson. But overall, when it comes to Watson in the offense, I know that's what everyone wants to talk about. There was a lot of good things we saw and a lot of not so good things we saw. But overall, when it comes to the offense, because that's what the eyeballs were all looking at here, it was a slow start because of the rain. Kevin Stefanski definitely acknowledged that, but the progress with the chemistry is going to start coming along soon. So with that, let's talk about Deshaun Watson. Did he underperform in this game? I'm going to say sorta. I'm not going to be a complete homer and say, no, Watson was fine, Watson was perfect. But also I have to acknowledge Watson short-armed a lot of passes. The rain definitely played a factor. It was an influence in this game. He completed a little over 50% of his passes, 16 for 29, 154 yards on through the air, 45 yards on the ground, 2 touchdowns total, 1 interception. This is what I'm talking about. I can chalk some of that up to the rain and whatnot, but ultimately there were some plays that Watson just missed, right? There were some guys open, Amari Cooper, Elijah Moore at times, where Watson just flat out missed the pass, missed the throw. So for Watson in the offense, plenty of things to still work on in this week for practice, but hopefully they don't play in torrential downpour or just overall ugly rain every single game of the year. And the Browns offense is going to be fine, right? Kevin Stefanski said that the ball was a little bit heavier, it was a little bit wet, it was hard to control, and Joe Burrow will definitely attest to that. So if you're going to knock on Watson's door and start ripping him apart for his performance, you should go look at what Joe Burrow did. Because at least Watson got over 100 passing yards. So it has to go both ways, but definitely want to see more from this offense. We were promised fireworks. I don't think we truly got fireworks, but we definitely got some sparklers, if you will. So we're going to see an improvement, no doubt about it. But what is your concern level over Deshaun Watson? Scale it 1 to 10. I'm at a 3.8, right? I don't think anyone, rightfully so, can be right at an absolute 1, being there's no concern whatsoever. But I also don't think you can come out of that game being at a 10 because the conditions were dreadful. Any quarterback playing in that game would have suffered and would have had some rough goes at it. Did Watson miss a couple of throws? Yes. Did Watson make some nice throws? Absolutely. So for that reason, I'm at a 3.5 or 3.6 or whatever. My third overreaction out of this game here. Should the Browns sign a proven running back? I'm going to say maybe. It's just week 1, so this would be a bit of an overreaction to go out and start changing up your roster and whatnot. But Jerome Ford, 15 carries, 36 yards, 2.4 yards average, 1 fumble in the win over Cincinnati. All I'm going to say about Jerome Ford is he missed all the preseason essentially, and it showed, right? Now, he got some carries late in the game once it was a blowout, but ultimately, I don't think anyone comes out of that game going, Jerome Ford is someone who can handle 10 to 12 carries a game or could even fill in for Nick Chubb if he were to go down. So if you want to look at the free agency market at running backs, there's still Leonard Fournette, there's Kareem Hunt, Darrell Henderson is someone the Browns brought in for a visit once, James Robinson was a breakout player for the Jags not too long ago, Kenyon Drake is a big-time notable name. There are some good proven free agent running backs out there. I'm willing to give Ford another 2 weeks or so, but if we are 3 weeks into the regular season and we're still seeing a lot of what we saw in week 1, yeah, you probably don't want to put your faith in that player. You might want to go out to the free agency market. So that is our final overreaction for the day. Now, if you notice, I don't have my cards with me. The cards polling segment was just for the offseason, and we are now into the season. But I have kept data and track of all of the cards that were pulled throughout the entire summer, and I thought you guys might enjoy it a little bit. Clubs was pulled 29 times, Spades pulled 28 times, Hearts were pulled 24, Diamonds 23. The most frequent number pulled overall was 8 across all 4 suits, 13 times. The least frequent, Jacks, only being pulled 4 times. The cards that were pulled the most, 10 of Hearts and 9 of Spades, both pulled 6 times. Total pulls we did throughout the entire summer, 104. Now, there were some cards that were not pulled at all. Here are the cards, we'll get them on screen for you in a moment, that were never pulled. 5 of Hearts, 10 of Diamonds, Jack of Diamonds, Ace of Diamonds, Ace of Spades, 4 of Clubs, Jack of Clubs, King of Clubs. In other words, these are all the cards that Rolly picked every single time. and that's why he never got the card right. But honestly, to the end of the video crew, to the guys and the girls that watch all the way through, thank you all so much. It really means a lot because YouTube provides a lot of analytics, and I can see the percentage of viewers that watch all the way until the end. So I know that 25, 35% of you that come to the end of the video, you guys are the best. You're the MVPs. You're the real ones. So thank you all so much for watching all the way through. I'll come up with some new little gimmicks and things like that for the end of the video crew throughout the season.